Welcome back, Phillies and Genitals, to A Brony Plays Minecraft. Excuse me. Today comes to you courtesy of, I don't know, something. Apparently, we're getting started right away by putting stuff in things and finding out that once again, you can't put ores inside a transportation tablet. We also have Bessie the Mushroom jumping up and down on our furnace. Get off my furnace, you cow! Literally, cow! Not like figuratively, oh, I don't like you because you're a woman or something. I mean, you're a cow and you're on my furnace. Get off my furnace. I'm trying to smelt things. No respect. Anyways, yeah, another fence, because if they only burn for like a little bit, then I need a little bit extra. But I actually didn't need that extra fence, as you'll see here, when I discovered that I only actually burned 2 fences. And really, 2 fences will smelt 3 things, possibly, maybe, if you don't waste any time in the middle. Anyways, so there's some silver at 512 and there's some tin at 256, which is interesting because tin is about the same value as iron, even though I think it's not worth the same. Copper is apparently much cheaper, and I guess that makes some sense because you do need a lot of copper, but you also need a lot more iron than you do tin, so go figure. Silver, I mean, silver's not as useful as you might think. I guess it's useful for, like, nickelite and blue and red alloy stuff, if you're gonna do a lot with red power, but, oh my god, the cow! Okay, I mentioned this last time. This cow, see, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but no, I am sure exactly what happened. It's because it jumped on this stupid book. Because Mistcraft was all like, ugh, I'm gonna break, and I'm now got a cow up there who's gonna kill himself. And actually, spoiler alert, it is going to kill itself. In the next video, which is gonna be number 10, I took like 3 tries to record that thing because one of the ages, age 54, breaks the game if you try to go there. So I kept losing the cow because it would jump off the edge. Actually, I would hit it to try to get it come back on the edge, and then it decided to jump off the edge. But anyways, I eventually did succeed, and so in the next, well, spoiler, I should have a spoiler finger, but you wouldn't be able to see it. Anyways, as you can see from the, as you can probably infer from all the jumping around, I'm rather upset by this. And apparently I like jumping and hitting my head on a bunch of leaves. No, I don't really like that. So I had a plan for dealing with this cow thing. There are actually 2 options. One is to build around it and just punch it. Actually, the first plan, that's not true. There are 3 options. The first option was to go back to Mistcraft World and wait for the cow to come off of there, because, it might do that. But no, it won't, because it's all like, if I jump off of here, I'm going to fall, because the fence is not treated the same as a block in anything, because you can't jump onto a fence. That's the whole point. So the cow won't jump off. But I didn't know that at the time. I wasn't really thinking very clearly. I was too upset about the cow being up there in the first place. Or mushroom, if you prefer, but I don't. Anyways, so I came back here hoping that it would go away. There are other solutions. One of them is to get some wheat, which I will try to do in a little bit here. And the other solution is to hit it, which, as I explained, works until the cow falls off the edge of the world because it's an idiot. Because that's what cows do. Also, interesting thing, I came down here with not nearly enough torches. This world is a dark world, so it takes more torches than usual. Anyways, you're probably going to be all like, what are you doing? This is kind of boring, because this video is pretty much me mining. Yeah, that's right, mining. In Minecraft. I just blew your mind. No, anyways, I'm looking for lapis. I mean, a diamond would be great too, but I'm looking for lapis because we do need lapis for some of the things. Specifically, we need lapis for any sort of advanced circuitry, like an MFSU and matter creator thingamajig. I still didn't look up the name of that thing. I completely forgot. It's because I've never made one. I've played Tekkit before, a little bit here and there, but I never had to make one of those things because it always seemed kind of silly. Seriously, if you've got EE, why bother? And if you don't have EE, why bother? I can understand in the original version of this, if this mod had not come with EE, or if EE was a little different, Yeah, it would make it, actually, even then, if it wasn't. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to use because there's a lot of things that you can't get, in theory, that you'd want to use the matter UU maker thing for. But, yeah, that didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. Anyways, so I'm going to pick up one of these, sapphire. Originally, I spent the next hunk of the, also, that previous thing that I picked up, it was on the side, and it looked like it was reddish. I didn't explain what that was here. When I did this the first time around, I tried in broken sentences, because I kept getting distracted by something, to explain what was going on and talk about some of the mineralogy. So I'll do that here instead, just in case you're interested. That reddish thing was a cinnabar ore, which can be smelted into quicksilver, or, mercury. Cinnabar is a real-life ore. It is the main source of mercury and has been for many hundreds of years, or even thousands of years. I don't know. Mercury is not really that important in ancient history, but it's important from the medieval and Renaissance time onward. Anyways, mercury is not mercury. Mercury is an element. It's the one that's liquid at room temperature, unless you're in Spain, in which case gallium is also liquid at room temperature. That's where it was, by the way, if you forgot. So you can go back and take a look at it. But you can take mercury and cinnabar. You can take cinnabar and smelt it down because by doing that, you convert the sulfide into an oxide, and so all the sulfur comes off, which is pretty nasty, and you get oxygen instead, and then you just keep heating that, and the mercury comes off. So really, you just take this ore and you put it in a furnace, and the mercury comes off. Also, hey, look, it's an aqueous crystal. Yay! So yeah, you take it, you put it in a furnace, and you have a condenser, which is a big long tube that has like cold water on it, or even just air, because mercury will condense at room temperature. But most people like to put nice cold water on it, and I'm pretty much out of torches, which is why I'm building tiny tunnels. Redstone, by the way, is not a real-life thing, just in case you were wondering. But terraformicraft does admit that since mercury is conductive and cinnabar is mercury, in terraformicraft, not that we ever saw any, but in terraformicraft, if you find cinnabar ore, that functions as a method of getting redstone. In here, cinnabar ore, which again we smelt, and we don't have to worry about a condenser and collecting the mercury. It just kind of appears as a little droplet that is conveniently easy to handle. Cinnabar is used for Thaumcraft. You can take the quicksilver and add it as, I think it's a quicksilver core to certain Thaumcraft items, which will then be all like, oh, hey, we go faster now. So like your Thaumic infuser, you can add the quicksilver core and it will go a little bit faster. My pick is about to die, at which point I will hopefully go back to the surface and get a new pick, as well as get frustrated at the stupid cow. Stupid cow. Anyways, since it contains mercury and sulfur and stuff, and since it's, boring like that, you might expect, and you'd be correct, that cinnabar is poisonous. And working with it exposes you to mercury fumes, unless you're very careful, which most of us are now today, but then again, we don't really need to mine mercury since we can recycle it. Although I'm pretty sure we still do mine mercury. It's pretty important for something. Not much though, because we're doing our best to avoid using mercury except in fluorescent lights, because everybody is all like, oh my god, mercury, and they panic and freak out about it. It's not actually that bad. Mercury is all like, hey, I'm a liquid, and people are like, oh, that's cool. And Mercury's also like, oh, by the way, I'm kind of toxic to your nervous system. And we're like, that's not so cool. It's also really bad for unborn babies. So that's why everyone's all like, oh god, mercury, oh no. It's a chronic poison, so it builds up over time. And something just fell in my fridge. I don't know what. But nothing broke, so it wasn't the wine bottle. Anyways, stupid cows up here. So yeah, mercury is actually not that super poisonous for you. It is poisonous. It is bad. It is, since it's a chronic poison, any amount is bad for you because it builds up over time. So all you really have to do is say, oh, hey, in my lifetime, it should only be exposed or absorb a certain amount of mercury, which is trickier than it sounds because, yeah, how are you going to be able to manage that across your entire lifetime? I didn't think so. Also, sapphire. Yay, I'll come back to that one later, though. It's not nearly as interesting as mercury is, because everyone loves mercury. By the way, if you're watching this and you have not seen this guy before or have not looked at mercury videos, pause this video, because that's just going to be me talking about mercury. Just pause it. Don't stop it. Don't completely get rid of it. Just pause it. We can come back to it later. I'll be here. I'll wait. And go check out mercury videos, specifically the ones by Taufladermaus. he does some. Well, he does a lot of really cool things. If you're into guns and other science experiments, um, some people suspect that he might be nerd rage in disguise, and I'm one of those people who suspect it might be the case. I don't think it necessarily is the case, though. Um, I think he was just trolling us one day, and he's like, "Haha, I pretend to be nerd rage." Anyways, Telflodermouse does a lot of has many, not a lot. He has several mercury videos, such as like putting mercury in a balloon. Yeah, I was looking for covalence dust for some reason. Anyways, he puts mercury in a balloon and he breaks it and he combines it with aluminum to show how mercury will eat away at aluminum, which is why, by the way, you can't carry mercury on airplanes. Even, like, you just can't do it. It's not doable. So yeah, that's the thing. You should go look at that. Go look at that. Go do that thing. And also go look at periodic videos thing about mercury. They have a cool story about it. I'm making a divining rod because I'm silly and I thought it would be useful. It turns out it wasn't. Spoiler alert. So, mercury, yeah. The vapor is the most dangerous part. Vapor is, of course, what you get when you make something evaporate into a gas. So, like, vapor evaporate. That's not nearly enough torches, but apparently I don't care since I don't really make more. Which is silly because it means that I'm going to be coming back here very soon. But apparently I don't care because, yeah, I didn't do that. This whole thing was very unplanned, and that was a problem. I really thought it would be a lot easier to find lapis, because normally I don't have much of a trouble finding lapis, and you always end up with a lot of it in vanilla. Although I guess a lot of it is relative, since you also end up with a lot of redstone, but redstone's much more useful, and so is iron, and so you're always looking for more of that stuff than you are for lapis, because lapis is not that useful, especially in vanilla. You heard that? Yeah, I don't know what that was either until I'm about to get hit, because guess what? I left the door open. Any minute now. Oh god! Oh god! Ah! Actually, looking at that frame a little while back, it's possible that that zombie did not come from me leaving the door open. It's possible it came from a spawner that spawned or something, or that the place is dark enough and something spawned in it. Um, I thought I saw a hint of the zombie somewhere, but anyways, I'm coming upstairs to turn it off. So yeah, mercury. Sorry about that. See, this is the problem I had the first time. Mercury vapor is bad for you. The liquid is not as bad as you'd expect. The solid's actually pretty okay, but it's very cold, so that's bad. The liquid can be absorbed through your skin, which is not good, but as you'll notice, all your parents are alive, and they've handled mercury, because that's what we did back in high school. I can't jump, apparently. Yeah, see, I'm all confused, like, how did it get in? I don't know. And which is why I'm rethinking now that I don't think it came from out here. I think it came from deeper in the mine. I did have some dark areas, even in a dark world. Ha 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 ha. So I never got hit by another one. Go fig. I think there might be a spawner or a cave or something nearby. But anyways, the mercury can be absorbed through your skin, but unless you're working with it every day, it's probably not a big deal, and it's probably not going to hurt you that much. So I wouldn't be too afraid of it, unlike a lot of people are. And I guess they've got some point to be a little worried, but they shouldn't be as worried, because I would love to be able to have mercury in school, and you can't even have it at school. Like, if it's in the school building, apparently that's a huge deal, and everyone was all like, yeah, or at least that's what the school district thinks will happen. Uh, yeah, it's something that happened. Hey, 44. I wonder why I didn't dig up there. I don't know. Probably because I was like, oh, that's just coal, which is probably true. So yeah, the most the biggest exposure for mercury you're going to get these days comes from the fluorescent lights. So don't go breaking those. It's bad. On the other hand, the amount of mercury in there is pretty light, so no big deal. At any rate, I guess the moral of the story is stay away from cinnabar unless you're trained in handling condensation and distillation techniques for mercury, since it's different from, like, alcohol or something, or water. You might be distilling water. I don't know. What do you do in your spare time? Let me know in the comments. So the other thing I should have mentioned was the sapphire that I picked up about 10 minutes ago. Okay, not 10 minutes, more like 7 minutes ago, but half a video ago I picked up a sapphire, and I said I was going to talk about that. So yeah, sapphire, it's a thing. It's aluminum oxide which is basically aluminum rust. Now, all aluminum in the world is coated with a thin layer of aluminum rust, a fact which most people don't know, even my students, even though aluminum is the element of the week. Oh, look, it's a tainted crystal. And aluminum oxide, or aluminum rust, well, see, aluminum is like super reactive. It's very, very reactive. It's more reactive than zinc, but it's coated with this layer of aluminum oxide. I'm going to grab that because I can't get it through any other method. So I feel justified. And it's like super, super like strong and everything. And I did not pick up the gold because I can get the gold through other methods as well, though it's going to be very difficult and take a long time. At least I hope I don't need the gold. But yeah, guess what I don't find. So because aluminum oxide, which is commonly known as sapphire in the materials industry, hey, wait a moment, what? I thought sapphire was blue. Yes, it is blue. Aluminum oxide, is that blue? No, it's not. Well, wait, how do we know? Because aluminum's not blue. Remember, aluminum's very, very reactive. It's so reactive it will actually react with water, except that it has a layer of aluminum oxide on it because it already reacted with the air. And unlike iron, which is all like, I'm going to rust all the way through, aluminum does not rust all the way through, which is pretty convenient. I think at this point I was also looking for a cave, and I didn't find it either. So the aluminum oxide is all like, hooba-dooba-dooba-dooba-doo, and then I ran into my old tunnel, and then the aluminum oxide turned into sapphire. Why? Because it had chromium impurities. Well, wait, what? Yeah, that's right. Your perfect blue sapphire. Go look at it. I'm sure you've got one. Go pause the video, go into your mom's room, dig through her jewelry, find the sapphire. Just like paw around until you find it. I'm sure she won't mind. Mothers never do. Here's a hint, they do. Anyways, unless maybe you have some sapphire jewelry, go take a look and you're probably like, oh my goodness, it's such the perfectest blue sapphire ever, la-di-da-di-da. I don't know what that was about. But the thing is, it's not. It has impurities of chromium in it, and that chromium gives it the blue color. And if I'm wrong, then correct me. I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. The point is that it has impurities. And the other point is that if you add iron impurities, you get rubies. That's right, sapphires and rubies are pretty much the same thing. I'm sure many of you already knew this. As you can see, I'm like, oh right, I'm supposed to be using the divining rod, and so now I am. So yeah, sapphires, rubies, kind of the same thing. They're both impure aluminum rust, which makes you, wonder why it's valuable. Just like, why are diamonds valuable? All they are is carbon with all the atoms stacked neatly. But nah, they're valuable because they're rare and people like rare things. I was trying to change the mode on the divining rod there. Oh, there we go. See, I figured it out, and it only has one mode, and I was all like, aw, sad face. So yeah, sapphires, rubies, aluminum oxide, also known as alumina, if you happen to be in the engineering trade. I'm not really sure what I was doing there. I don't... Oh, I was looking for something. I saw a divining value, and I'm like, where is the thing that I'm looking for? And I couldn't find it. So yeah, that's the thing. Oh, there's the iron. It was probably iron or something. So anyways, that's the story of Cinnabar and the story of Sapphire. That sounds like two kids from an urban city. Actually, it sounds like one kid from an urban center and one kid from a suburban or rural center. Huh. If any of you wants to make a story, go ahead. I'm kind of crap as a writer. Well, not crap, but I don't have the discipline and stuff to make an interesting story. So you're probably not going to see it come from me. Anyways, wow, this video is a bit longer than I thought. Oh, I think it's 24 minutes. Okay, that's cool. I was like, we're hitting 18 minutes already, and there's a fair bit of stuff left. But then again, also, we were at like 22 or like 11 to 14 as halfway. So no big deal. But if you want to, back out now, I don't blame you. Instead, I'm just going to burn this door. And all this cobblestone because, hey, free EMC, right? Free MC! I'm not sure what to say about that. Sounds like a slogan. You should make a poster and put it on internet and be all like, oh look, it's viral now, free MC. And then you could put Usher at the end and it'd be like free MC Usher, but then you could juxtapose it against a background of the EE or EMC from Minecraft, and it'd probably be a really, really poor inside joke. If I were an MC, you could put my thing on there, but I'm not. Anyways, so I came back to the world thinking to myself, oh wait, I know how to get Betsy off of here. So I grabbed some seeds. And I feel a little cheaty for this. This is another thing I feel like I'm cheating because I could make seeds with the UU matter once we finally get that going, but I decided not to. And because I was just in a haste to get this done as soon as I could, I did not really think about how I was going to do this, so I started wandering around looking everywhere, and basically, well, I don't know. I'll just let you watch and find out. It's kind of crap what happens. I think I set up a really poor system. But I eat an apple first, which if you haven't, you should totally go watch Hank Green's video on apples. He talks about how apples exhibit extreme heterozygosity. He tells you what that means, and why all apples are essentially clones. Which brings us to another issue, which is genetic modification of foods, or GMOs, genetically modified organisms. I can talk about this because A, I'm a scientist, and B, I'm cutting down trees. Therefore, I'm obviously qualified. Tasty. Anyways, GMOs are pretty tasty, although you don't actually go around eating most of them directly because a lot of GMOs get produced for, kind of like industrial purposes, if farming could said to be industrial. Which, of course it is industrial. How else would we have everything we've got? I mean, if it weren't for farming being slightly industrial. I set up a lot bigger farming area than I needed to, as you can see here. But yeah, think about it. We like chicken. Well, that means we have to grow all the chickens and then kill them, which some people might find objectionable. Vegetarians, sorry. Vegans, not sorry because you're silly. Yeah, I'm gonna hate now, but I think veganism is a little more silly than vegetarianism because when you're being vegan, you're effectively removing a large source of nutrients from your diet for a reason that I think is silly. And I don't really respect your reasoning because people have been eating animal stuff for a long time and they've been perfectly fine with it. There's no, I don't, you've got to, I guess you have a valid moral argument against, you shouldn't eat animal products like eggs and stuff, man. But, I don't really agree. So, yeah, you're really, there's nothing wrong. Chickens are going to lay eggs. And we don't need all of those eggs becoming chickens. So, it's kind of like the whole, cat and getting neutered thing. Just saying. You should really think about that. Think about what you've done. Also, since I felt so cheaty about all that other stuff, it sounds like I said a bad word, but I didn't. Since I felt all cheaty about that, I'm going to go ahead and throw away age 50, so that we cannot reuse its awesome and mighty power for terrible purposes. See, I'm trying to figure out how the cow got out, and I've come to the conclusion that it just glitched. So anyways, that's my opinion on veganism. I think vegetarianism is okay because in vegetarianism, you're generally making a more moral and more ethical point. Also in vegetarianism, you're still saying, hey, I'll eat some animal products and I'll still get my protein. If you're a vegan, you have to get your protein through supplements and peanuts. And I don't know, maybe you don't like peanuts. So by age 50, you were a good age. Anyways, yeah, I think it's silly. But that brings us to GMOs. And I guess if you're a vegan, you probably don't need to worry about it because you're not supporting any of the things that get supported by GMOs. Yeah, this is a void snow age, which is really obnoxious because there's no swamp biome here and, nothing. I'm not even going to put down the linking stand. I'm just so, stupid age. But at least it didn't kill the game like Age 54 did and or will, depending on your view of time, Doctor. GMOs, a lot of GMOs are things like corn and soy that get used for feedstock or other sorts of things. And that basically means that you don't necessarily eat those directly. Now, there are some things that you eat directly. Hell, obviously there is corn that's GMO'd that we eat. But when you consider genetic modification, what is genetic modification? Because we've been modifying things genetically for thousands of years. The whole point of agriculture is to modify things genetically. We've been doing that since we first could. You get a bunch of wheat that was growing in the wild, and you slowly start breeding it until it becomes something that's, you know, good and tasty and grows well in your environment, and something that you can export and grows nice and big and everything. We've been breeding cows and cattle and horses for a long, long time as well, probably just as long as we've been growing wheat. And probably most importantly, most interestingly, is the Apple thing, which is what started this whole rant about everything. And like I said, you should go watch Hank Green's video on apples. In fact, why haven't you done that yet? Pause the video and go watch it again if you have to. It's a good video. You can watch it twice. Go ahead. I won't be offended. And in fact, I'll be glad. I like people learning. It's why I'm a teacher. Didn't think about that, now did ya? Anyways, where was I? Apples. Yes, extreme heterozygosity. Basically, apples are nothing like their parents. And as Hank explains, the default taste of apple is pretty terrible, and since it is nothing like its parent, that means that it's all like, why plant apples? Because they're not going to turn out right. Pretty much, apples are clones. Every apple tree that you've eaten is a clone of another apple tree that already exists. Hell biome, by the way, although I probably should have found a skeleton. But I decided to just say screw it because I don't like this, and it doesn't have a swamp. And what we really need was a swamp. Yeah, we also need lapis, but meh. I need a swamp so I can get rubber. So yeah, apple trees, they're all clones. Like all the Macintosh apples came from this tree in Canada. And what you do is you take a graft or a splice. It's like a chunk of the tree, usually sometimes including the root, sometimes just, you know, a decent sized chunk. And there are many ways for taking these grafts and chunks. But the point is, if you take a chunk of tree, see, now a pig got out, and I was really frustrated by this point because the pig getting out is just ridiculous. That just shouldn't happen. There's no excuse for that, pig getting out. Yeah, and I almost went and did something about it, but then I'm like, no, I'll just let the wheat grow. But it turns out that wheat takes a long time to grow. Like, it actually does. I never really thought about it before, but it does. And see, look at that. I didn't even go, like, all I did is walk around once, and the pig is on the fence. My frustration was endless at this point, and so the video did not last a whole lot longer. Because of that, go watch the apples video if you haven't already, and I'll see you again next time when I fix this problem. Until then, everyone, every pony, keep on trotting. Stupid pig being up on my thing. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Farewell!